You think about money differently from most people around you. Not in a complicated way, just differently. When someone else sees a price, they ask, "Can I afford this?" When you see the same price, your mind goes somewhere else first. You ask, "Is this worth it? Is this a smart exchange? What am I actually getting for what I'm giving?" That shift seems small. It is not. That one mental habit, valuing things instead of just reacting to them, is one of the first signs that your brain is already wired for wealth, even before the wealth has shown up. Most people spend money. You are always, even without realizing it, thinking about what money does. The second thing about you is how you experience time. And this one is harder to explain, but you will recognize it immediately. Time does not just pass for you. It bothers you when it passes without producing something. Not money, not even results necessarily. Just movement, progress, a step taken. When a day ends and nothing meaningful happened, there is a specific feeling you carry into the next morning. A quiet restlessness, like something was wasted and you owe it back somewhere. Other people shake that feeling off in 5 minutes. You sit with it a little longer, you let it push you. That relationship with time, where you treat it like something precious that should not be spent carelessly, is one of the most consistent things you find in people who went on to build real wealth. They were already living like time had value long before their bank account reflected it. They could not help it. Neither can you. There is also the way you look at the world around you. You are not just moving through it. You are reading it. Constantly. You walk into a business and your mind starts mapping it automatically. Why is this line so long? Why does this product cost this much? Who is not being served here? What is the thing that is obviously broken that nobody has fixed yet? You do this at restaurants, at shops, watching advertisements that do not quite work. You notice gaps. You notice inefficiencies. You notice what is missing. Most people around you are simply using the world. You are always slightly studying it. And here is why that matters. Every time your mind spots a gap and imagines a solution, even if you never act on it, even if it is just a passing thought, you are training the exact muscle that creates wealth. Value creation starts in the mind as a habit long before it becomes a business or a product or an investment. You have been practicing it for years without calling it that. The way you learn is different too. And this is an important one. You are not interested in knowing things just to know them. Information that has nowhere to go makes you impatient. But when you find something that actually works, a concept, a principle, a strategy that connects directly to real life, you go deep. You absorb it. You turn it around and look at it from every angle. You ask where else it applies. You are not collecting knowledge to sound smart. You are building a toolkit you plan to actually use. And this is the part that separates you quietly from most people. You are willing to throw out what you believed last year if something better comes along. No attachment. No ego about being the person who believed the old thing. You update, you adjust, you move on. People call this being inconsistent. It is actually one of the most valuable thinking habits that exists. The most successful people are not the ones who are always right. They are the ones who could change their mind quickly without making it a whole event. You already do this. You probably did not know it was rare. Now let us talk about how you handle risk, because this one surprises people. You are not reckless. That is not what this is about. But when other people look at an uncertain situation and freeze, something different happens in you. You get focused. Your mind starts running the numbers. What is the worst realistic outcome? What is the best realistic outcome? What are the actual odds here versus the perceived odds? You do this fast, almost automatically, while other people are still reacting emotionally to the uncertainty itself. You are comfortable with the idea that you might be wrong and things might not work, as long as the potential upside justifies the attempt. That is what real risk tolerance actually looks like. Not fearlessness. Just a clear-eyed ability to weigh things without panic distorting the calculation.
And you have already taken chances that people around you thought were unreasonable. Some worked, some did not. But here is the telling thing. Neither result destroyed your willingness to try again. You adjusted your approach. You did not abandon your orientation.
That is not something you can easily teach someone. You either have it or you spend years trying to develop it. You already have it. Here is the part worth pausing on for a second, because it is easy to overlook. You are genuinely curious about other people. Not to be polite. When someone tells you what they are working on, what they are struggling with, what they cannot figure out, something in you actually pays attention. You are listening for the real problem underneath the surface problem. The thing they have not quite named yet. The version of their situation that has an actual solution. And somewhere along the way, you became the person people come to when they want an honest answer. Not the most agreeable person, the most useful one. That is a form of wealth that most people do not count, but it is the exact thing that opens doors before you even go looking for them. Opportunities find people who can actually see what is going on. You are one of those people. Also, and this is said with full affection, you have at some point responded to, "You should invest in this," from someone with absolutely no plan by saying, "That sounds interesting, tell me more," and then mentally taken it completely apart before they finish the second sentence. You did not say it out loud, but you already knew. That instinct has protected you more than once. Think about the last genuinely good idea you had, not the ones you talked about, the one you quietly acted on. Where did it come from? Probably not from a book or a video. Probably from watching something, noticing something, and following the thought further than most people would have. Sit with that for a moment. That is your natural edge. That is the thing most people are trying to buy courses to develop. Here is the quiet reframe. You did not develop this trait because you wanted to be rich. You developed it because you were genuinely paying attention. The wealth is just what happens when genuine attention meets consistent action. There is one more trait, and it is the simplest one. But it may be the most powerful. You finish things. Not out of stubbornness. Not because you do not feel like quitting. You feel like quitting at exactly the same moment everyone else does. When the excitement is gone and what remains is just the unglamorous work of continuing. Most people exit quietly at that moment. They start something new, something that still has its initial energy. You have felt that pull too, the temptation to restart rather than continue. But you push through it differently. Not perfectly, not always, but consistently enough that people in your life have noticed, even if they have never said it out loud. You also, and notice this in yourself, do one more pass at things after you think you are done. One more check, one more refinement, one more thing before you send it or submit it or launch it. Not because you are afraid, because your name is on it and that means something to you. That quiet standard, that sense of ownership over your own work, is not common. And over time, it is one of the things that compounds most visibly. Here is the deepest truth in all of this, the one that ties everything together. The people who build real wealth are almost never primarily motivated by the money itself. The money is how they keep score. What actually drives them is something more personal. They need to know what they are capable of. They want to find the edge of what they can build and see what is there. The money is the world's way of confirming that what they built actually mattered, that it solved a real problem for real people. But it is not the reason they showed up every day. This distinction changes everything, because people who only want money stop when money stops feeling motivating. People who genuinely need to see what they can build. They do not have an off switch. You already know which one you are. You probably knew before you even finished that sentence. The world around you may not see it yet. It may read your focus as intensity, your standards as being difficult, your drive as never being satisfied. Let them. What they are observing, without understanding it, is someone whose internal standard has already moved further than their current position. That gap between where you are and where your mind already lives is not a problem. It is the engine. The destination was always going to find you, because you were already moving toward it before anyone else could see it. If this felt less like a video and more like someone quietly reading your own thoughts back to you, you are not alone in that. There are others who needed to hear exactly this. If you want more of these, the kind of conversations that say out loud what usually stays unspoken, subscribing to this channel is enough.